Do, 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 do. Oh, come on. Change the profile to that. Ignore that. And do that. Oh, crikey. Happy budget day. Move the comments up here. The bin men are here. The bin men are here. Let's get these comments up there so I can see them and read them, of course. Oh, let's grab the coffee. Rah, rah, rah. It's coffee time. Good. That's that. Got that sorted. That's all under control. Let's dismiss that. Right. We're all set up and ready to rock. How is everyone on this Wednesday morning? A very important Wednesday. This one. I don't think we've had a Wednesday quite this important for a long time because it's budget day. Now that might excite some of you. Does it excite me? I wouldn't say excite me. It concerns me. It worries me. I'm a bit fearful for what's going to be announced today, not just from a mortgage perspective, but from a taxpayer perspective. Can you still get a mortgage while paying off a debt consolidation loan? Yes, you can. The loan won't be looked at as a debt consolidation loan. It will just be looked at like a normal loan, and it will just alter your affordability as to what you can get, because your monthly payment will obviously need to be paid to that versus the mortgage. Can you get a mortgage with bad credit history? Now, it depends what the bad credit history is. So when we're talking about credit history, it's your credit history for the last 6 years. So any issues on that? What are we talking bad credit? Could be anything from missed payments to CCJs, defaults, all that kind of stuff. So we need to be specific, and then we can match that specificity with lenders' criteria. I'm self-employed and have some missed payments. Missed payments, not too bad. Just depends how long ago they were. But yeah, you should be able to with that. And depending on how long ago they were and how many they were, how quickly you rectified them, then yeah, it's just you should be able to. You need to work with a broker who's got access to the whole of the market, so that we can match you with a lender that their lending criteria accept that. Lender passed my mortgage today and instructed a survey. How long's left now, roughly? Hopefully, it's not a survey they instruct, it's a valuation. Now, it depends how quickly the person can get access to the property to do the valuation. But once that's done, it should be about within a week. I'd have thought you'd be getting an offer, or if there's any issues on the valuation, then that will come back to advise. So, yeah, hopefully. Of course, it depends on the lender, because some lenders accept valuations at different stages. Is minimum deposit still 10% for a second time buyer residential? No, you can do it with a 5% second time. Assuming you're selling and buying a new one. Mortgage approved at a salary, but need to register a limited company in my name. Should I wait? Absolutely, yes. Don't do anything before your mortgage completes, which will jeopardise your application. And that can be changing jobs, moving, buying things on a credit card, buying things on credit, on finance. Yeah, you just don't do anything to jeopardise your application until it's fully completed. Thank you for those likes. That's really appreciated, and it's very helpful because it then gets us in front of more people. I'm earning 40k a year. What can I borrow? It depends. So you mentioned you're self-employed earlier, so we'd need to look at how you're self-employed and how the figures are made up. First time buyer, what usually is a good bank for a mortgage? There isn't a one size fits all, I'm afraid. It's based on your own individual circumstances. And the best thing you can do is use a broker, because we will match you and your circumstances with the most appropriate lender. There isn't a one size fits all. It's a really an individual thing. And that's why you can't rely on getting advice from your mate Dave down the pub, because his situation is going to be very different to yours. So it's it's an individual thing. We are up for renewal in March. Our current rate is around 1%. What next steps would you recommend? Get in touch with a broker now, because you can fix a rate today. And if rates go up, you've protected yourself from further increases. But also, if they go down, your broker will change that. What would the what would be the decision today? I don't know. Should I get a home buying survey? My property is fully furnished. Being fully furnished doesn't affect a survey. If you're buying a property, you're wise to get a survey, because you're spending hundreds of thousands of pounds. So you're going to want to make sure it's of a decent quality. What's the APR at the moment? There's loads of different ones. Once I sign a mortgage deed, is my rate locked in? Exchange? No, your rate is locked in. Well, your rate is locked in at application. So you secure your rate at application. But you can change that up to about 2 weeks from completion. Waiting for call today. Guarantor mortgage of 495, but guarantor owns 100k a year. Will that be okay? I can't say on the little information now. It depends on so many different variables. You just can't say. What's your thoughts on shared ownership? It works for some people. You need to look at all the costs involved. There's three main costs. You've got your rent, your service charge, and your mortgage. Now, obviously, you can shop around for mortgages, but the rent and the service charge have to be paid to particular companies, and they can go up and up and up. So it's the service charge that does catch people out, unfortunately, because it does increase and does become an issue. But if you live in expensive areas like London, where house prices are absolutely extortionate, then shared ownership might be your only option. I would advise, if you can buy with a normal purchase route, so a normal mortgage, not shared ownership, then do that. But of course, if shared ownership is the only viable option to you, then so be it. But just look carefully at it. Someone down the chain is waiting for a wall tie report to be accepted by a mortgage company. No works. Yeah, that's the thing with chains. They everything has to complete at the same time. I've been a resident for 2 years in this country, but I have to wait 3 years to get a mortgage. Not necessarily, no. There are lenders who will do it on living in a country for 12 months, but it depends on your visa status. Any lenders that will take property that is a multi-unit let and has units less than 30 square metres? I don't know. I'll have to look into that. I've been told not to get a mortgage as a single person and wait. How can I get around this? Who's told you that? Plenty of people get mortgages on their own. Again, this is why you don't listen to general advice from people that don't know what they're talking about. How long does it usually take for a mortgage application for an answer? From putting in the application to getting an offer, 2 to 3 weeks, roughly. I mean, some are much faster than that. Sometimes Halifax can do them in 24 hours sometimes. But it very much depends on lender and application. 45k PAYE, 2 kids, debt free, 30k deposit, but DRO will prevent it. DRO will prevent everything. Don't think there's any lenders who will lend on a DRO. Pretty sure there's not, actually. Let me go here. Let me check this. Hang on, I'm just checking. Pretty sure there's no lenders that do debt relief order that's still in force. Debt relief order satisfied. No. No, there are some. There's a very small handful that would look at it. If you don't know what a DRO is, you don't need to worry. Would you recommend getting into short-term out of the money options on lifestyle? I don't know what you are talking about. Average adverse credit mortgage rate. There isn't average. because it all depends on what the adverse credit is, how long ago it was, what lender we're looking at, all that kind of stuff. It needs to be massively assessed. Putting in an offer today, any advice? Make sure you can afford the offer, so make sure you've got your application in principle prior to putting the offer. Don't go over what you can afford, and offer what you want. Legally, the estate agent have to put forward any offer they receive. So there's no rules around making offers. You offer exactly what you want. Will buy-to-let mortgages change after Labour's new laws? Mortgages won't. Whether you want to be a landlord or anything, might do. If you have an arrears on the mortgage, can you still remortgage for a better rate? If you've got mortgage arrears, lenders absolutely hate that. So it's worse than normal arrears on unsecured lending. If you have mortgage arrears, then they really don't like that. Would you offer before having a second viewing? What I would do is probably quite different to you. I'd always look at it as much as I can before putting an offer in, to make sure I like it. Even though I've had a deposit, a banker advising I have another person's income. If you've got an active DRO, there's very few lenders that will look at it. It's budget day today. Who's worried? Who's concerned? What are your thoughts? Can I get a mortgage if I'm in overdraft? Yeah, yeah. On the face of it, yes. Um, as long as it's an arranged overdraft. If it's unarranged, then that's going to cause issues. If you're at your overdraft limit, that might also cause issues because they might view it as a committed expenditure. It's a debt at the end of the day. So it just depends what the situation is with the overdraft. But yeah, if it's a small little overdraft, that's fine. And even if you sort of dip in and out of it, you get paid, you come out of it, maybe dip into it in the year, in the month, then yeah, should be all right. I am missing something here. Why can't I see this information? There we go. I can see the information. There's information down there as well. Can I get a mortgage if you have a default? Yes. Yes, you can. Does a bonus account for income on top of salary and applying for a mortgage? Yes, it does. Well, we have to make sure that we go with the best lender that will take most of it into account. So not all lenders will take 100% of the bonus, but there are lenders that will. They have different requirements as to proving the bonus, but absolutely, it's a bonus, commission, overtime can all count towards your income. Is it worth overpayment on a mortgage of even £100 a month? Yes, 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 yes. Go to Money Saving Expert Mortgage Overpayment Calculator and look at the difference that making a £100 overpayment makes. It's noticeable. Any overpayment is benefit. Can I increase the deposit amount after mortgage deed has been signed with the same lender? If you increase the mortgage deposit amount, the whole thing has to be adjusted because your borrowing amount will change. Can I get a lender if I've recently started a new job but have contracted hours? Yes. So motorbike just went past. Prospect of mortgage at 52 and 51? Absolutely. Yep. Just comes down to income and how long you're looking to have the loan over. But yeah, absolutely. No problem with that. There are lenders that will go up to 90 odd, assuming you've got a viable income. But yeah, don't worry about that. What income is required? You need income. The amount of borrowing you can achieve is based on your income. So ideally, that's employed income, but there are lenders that take benefit income into account, pension income, buy-to-let, income from buy-to-lets, that kind of stuff. Rented house over 20 years. I want to buy it. Do I still pay deposit? You do if you're buying it at market rate. If the landlord has agreed to give you a discount, then that discount may be able to count as a deposit. So then you wouldn't have to. Just depends on the amount of discount and if it's viable. So you have to be rich, basically. No, you just have to have income. Just like any form of borrowing, you've got to be able to pay back the borrowing. I will have 8 months left on a mortgage when I move in December. Would you recommend porting a 4.79? Well, if you've got 8 months left, that would suggest to me that you would have early repayment charges if you wanted to come out of that. So end it. I mean, 4.79 isn't a rate to desperately hold on to. You're going to get that or in and around that if you get a new mortgage. But the thing that would concern me would be the 8 months left. So you'd probably have an early repayment charge. So porting is an option, certainly. Is there a minimum requirement for salary? No, there's no minimum requirement, but the amount of mortgage you can borrow is based on your salary. So is PIP looked at negatively? No, PIP can be included as income. Can I remove myself from a mortgage if the other person is taking over in full? You can do, but the other person needs to be able to afford it on their own. What do you think about budget is going to say about housing? God, who knows? Who knows what the budget's going to say? I think they might keep the stamp hold duty thresholds where they are. So that's good news. I think it's going to be mainly bad news if you're a landlord, essentially. I don't think there's going to be any major stuff around housing, in all honesty. They're probably just going to say they're going to fund house building. But yeah, I think you should be concerned if you run your own business, such as I do. Because apparently I'm not a worker in Labour's eyes, even though I pretty much work 7 days a week. I'm not a worker because I run my own business. You can tell I'm slightly annoyed as to what's been coming out in the press, but yeah, it's not great. How many people can buy one house for mortgage purposes? Generally two. Two people on a mortgage. There are some companies that allow you to have up to four, but they won't necessarily take all incomes into account. Yeah, the budget is a big concern today. Thank you for those likes; they are awesome. Really appreciate that. Keep it going if you can. But yeah, the budget is a big day today because new government, change of government from 14 years. It's their first budget, so it is big news. So we just got to keep an eye on that. If bad news for landlords, do you think there'll be a decrease in house prices? Possibly, because a lot of landlords, we've been seeing it, a lot of landlords are pulling out. So they're selling up their properties, which is putting more stock onto the market, it's a supply and demand situation. So the more supply there is, if supply outstrips demand, then prices will come down. If demand outstrips supply, then prices go up. You get sweet honey nectar of dividends, according to Labour. Do I? I pay myself through PAYE. And yes, we do get dividends, but we take the risk of being self-employed. I don't get holiday pay. I don't get sick pay. So I've got sending you to that's no problem. Is London waiting 3k a year taking into account consideration top up basic? Yes, London waiting, yeah, anything like that can be included in income. Absolutely, yes. Yes, it can. God, I need my coffee. Oh, that's nice. That is nice. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to the budget. It's been stressing me out for a good number of weeks with all the stuff we've been hearing. And then we had the announcement last night of minimum wage going up, which is great. Good for people that are on minimum wage. But how's that going to be funded? Businesses have to fund it. Where are they going to fund it from? Increases in prices. What's that going to fuel? Inflation, and then that might make rates go up again. It's just such an absolute nightmare. I have a 6-month probation period in my job. Is it possible to get a mortgage before it's over? Yes, it is. There's going to be a couple of lenders who might have issues with it, but generally you'll be fine. When you go through a solicitor, when they order the surveys, what does this mean? Searches, not surveys. They order the searches. So that's searches on the land registry, the council, all that kind of stuff. Mining searches, all that kind of stuff. If I sell my limited, which wholly owns a property, the buyer does not pay stamp, just I don't know what you're talking about. I'm first time buyer. Hopefully, I live in East Kent. How much would I need to save? At least 5% deposit. Do you think we'll be going into recession or the house market will crash? No, neither of those. No, the economy's doing all right at the moment, but let's see what happens after a budget. The economy is fine. It's growing. You keep seeing the forecasts being updated and improved. So the economy is good. So that's not a recession. Housing crash. Don't listen to doom mongers. There's one guy. Who was it? What's his name? Moving with Charlie, I think. Don't listen to what that guy loves a bad news story. He predicted a 35% decrease in house prices. Has that happened? No. Um, What's the first step after you have a deposit ready? Speak to a mortgage broker and then assess how much you can borrow and what options are available to you. Feel free to get in touch. We would love to help you out. Partner returns to work in September. Can I get a mortgage for me and my partner on one salary of 50 quid? I assume that means 50,000. I'm just being cheeky. You can do. Um, just wait till September. Oh, returns to work in September. That's like nearly a year from now. Do I understand that question? Have you written it right? What do lenders look for on bank statements? Loads of things. Loads of things. Fraud. They check your pay. They check your outgoings. They check your spending. So loads of things that are looked at on bank statements. Sometimes they might not even answer a bank statement, in all honesty. But as a mortgage broker, we assess them because we get a lot of answers to our questions from bank statements. So we are also the first line of defence against mortgage fraud. So that's why we check them, because mortgage fraud is surprisingly rife. So yeah, we are constantly trying to fight it. Us and lenders trying to fight it all the time. Sorry, Percy, the delivery robot, just went past. He's a little celebrity around here. Can you believe nationwide rates went up? I can, because I saw the email and I've seen the rates go up. It happens. It's happening at the moment. Rates are fluctuating up and down. Loads of houses being reduced though, so less people are buying. Could that fuel market crash? No, it won't fuel a market crash. It tends to go quiet this time of year anyway. You wait till after Christmas and New Year. That's when it explodes. Because sadly, what we see a lot of. I shouldn't chuckle. I shouldn't laugh. Sadly, after Christmas, we see a lot of couples splitting up. A lot of houses come on the market because people realise that over Christmas and New Year they don't like spending time with each other anymore. So there's quite a lot of that, and the inquiries explode in the new year. Happens every year. There was one year, I think it was just after COVID. I did nothing from mid-November to the 3rd of January, and on the 3rd of January it just went boom and just kicked off again. As a first-time buyer, would you recommend new build with a scheme or older property? I wouldn't recommend anything, because it depends on your individual circumstances. We've bought two new builds, for our own peace of mind. We didn't want to get hassle of an ongoing chain. We didn't want to buy something that might have issues. So we just went new build for the ease of hassle. Is it? If it's possible, should I wait to buy outright or get a small mortgage? Up to you. It's up to you. There is no right or wrong answer to that. Of course, if you wait, house prices might increase. They might go down. If you get a small mortgage, you're obviously going to have a little debt that you have to pay back. But if you buy with the mortgage, then you can have a bit of cash in your pocket, aren't you? Do you thin thinning mortgages might be good news after the budget today? What's a thinning the mortgage? Coffee, coffee, coffee. What is going on outside? Thank you for the follows. That's always appreciated. Follows and likes is all like that's great. So follows and likes, very much appreciated. Um, but if you would like to speak to us one to one, then feel free to get in touch. You can send us an email, as it says above, to hello@mellowfinancial.co.uk. You can send us a message in the DMs with your name, number, and email address, and we'll get in touch with you. Or you can just go straight through the link in the TikTok bio and book in a call. Is an interest-free mortgage a good idea? No such thing as an interest-free mortgage. Are older houses harder to purchase with a buy-to-let mortgage? Not necessarily. They obviously have to be valued, and there may be some comments on the valuation report. But no, with buy-to-lets, the affordability is mainly worked out on the rental income. So, yeah, it's absolutely fine. Interest only, very difficult to get an interest only mortgage. You have to be a very high earner, have a low loan to value, and the criteria is very tight. So they're very, very difficult to get these days. Highly regulated. You have to have a repayment vehicle running alongside as well. Do I still need a solicitor if I'm buying a house from a relative? Yes, because the deeds need updating. Are we expecting stamp duty getting worse? Now, this is a hot topic. So at the moment, the thresholds at which you pay stamp duty are due to be reduced on the 1st of April next year. But let's see what is said in the budget today. Are they going to stop that to keep thresholds where they are, or are they going to tweak them a little bit? I started self-employed in May. How could I get a mortgage? Only when you've got 12 months worth of self-employed history. You need at least 1 year's accounts filed to get a mortgage on self-employed. It's why you really need to consider going self-employed. If you've got any mortgage or remortgage plans, you need to have accounts filed so that you can prove your income. How am I supposed to get on a property ladder? How do you get money for a deposit? A lot of people save money. A lot of my first-time buyers, they're coming to me with saved deposits. They've made use of lifetime ISAs or help to buy ISAs, and just saved money. Do you think house prices will stagnate then? I don't know. It depends on supply and demand. How much does having 2 kids change my ability to borrow? It will have an impact because they are classed as dependents. So of course you've got to fund them and pay for them. You've got to feed them and all that kind of stuff. So it just depends on different lenders as to what stance they take and how much it affects things. Just needs to be accurately assessed. First time buyer, I have 2K on credit card. Will this stop me getting a mortgage? No, it won't. People get mortgages with loans, credit cards, cars on finance. That's not a big concern. It's obviously things on credit files and adverse credit history that have main impact. It just affects how much you can borrow, essentially. My mic is very echoey. Why is that? Why is that? It shouldn't be. What is happening here? Do I need to get closer to it? Is that... does that help? If your credit score is good, can you get a mortgage? So credit score isn't very helpful. We want to know your credit history over the last 6 years. Mike is fine. Okay, thank you. Good stuff. So credit score is pretty irrelevant when it comes to getting a mortgage because credit score is just a snapshot of how healthy your credit report is at that point in time. We are interested in the whole credit history for the last 6 years. So anything on there is very much better. Best way to buy second property, moving for work while keeping first property still on mortgage. Well, there isn't a best way. If you want to own 2 residential properties and have 2 residential mortgages, you're going to have to be able to afford both. So that comes into the equation. You're going to pay an increased stamp duty, an extra 3% because you'll have 2 properties. It's costly. With British Gas, it's a fixed tariff. So does that mean I won't be affected by price hikes? Why are you asking me about British Gas? Can a relative take equity out of their property with no mortgage to lend me a 20% deposit? So they'll be getting a mortgage, I assume. But yes, they can do that and gift you the 20% deposit. Absolutely, it has to be declared as a gift. So yeah, but that's fine. Yeah, Olivia. I was like, what the hell? I'm not Mr. This isn't Utilities Warehouse. Sorry. Now coming out of a fixed rate, should I get another or wait for rates to drop? Phil, what are you waiting for rates to drop to? And also, if you've come off a fixed rate, you're now on a lender's standard variable rate, which is massively expensive. So any rate drop you're waiting for is going to cost you a lot of money. I don't quite know what you're expecting rates to drop to. I can be a bit blunt sometimes. I'm sorry. I apologise. I'd rather be to the point than sugarcoat it. Yeah, I just tell it as it is. No point dressing something up. I'll just give the facts. Any recommendation on who can value my property, please? Yeah, I mean, if you, I mean, we could sort out a valuation for you. Um, are you taught? Are you? If you're going through a mortgage process, the lender will value it anyway, so you don't need to worry about that. What are you looking to get a valuation for? I don't know, but yeah, if you want to get in touch, we can certainly source a sort of valuation for you. Prefer the point. Would you recommend shared ownership? Olivia, if you have other ways of buying, such as if you can buy it traditionally with a normal mortgage, I would say do that. But I appreciate that some parts of the country are exceptionally expensive, such as London, where I am in Bristol. Very expensive, so it may be the only viable option. If you're buying on shared ownership, I just advise to really look into it in a lot of detail because there's three main costs associated with shared ownership. You've got your mortgage, you've got your rent, and then you've got the service charge. Mortgages, we can shop around to a point to find the best deal and the cheapest solution for you. Um, Rent and service charge, they are paid to individual companies, and there's only one provider for those each. And service charge in particular goes up and up and up. Every year, you'll probably find an increase in the service charge, and that's what can catch a lot of people out. So you need to be aware of that. Also, it depends on what your strategy is for shared ownership. Are you looking to buy a shared ownership house and then look to staircase and purchase more over time? If you are, you need to make sure the housing association allows that. If you're using it as a stepping stone, such as you're going to buy a shared ownership house, hopefully get it increase in value in a number of years and then sell it to perhaps get more deposit to move on to a more traditional purchase, then there's a different strategy around that as to how much share you'd want to buy, because selling them can be difficult. So if you're looking for a stepping stone, you might want to have a minimal share so that it's easier to sell, because you have to buy it through the shared ownership scheme as well. But that's my quick brain dump on shared ownership. Are there any lenders that will lend you on a property that has previously bought under 6 months ago? Yes. Don't think I quite understand the question. Very loosely, 210k deposit, 80 year. What bracket would I look at? Get your 80k, times it by 5, and add your 210. That's roughly what you'll be looking at. Had issues with gambling in the past, but not gambled for 7 months. Will post past gambling impact me? No. So I assume the issues you mentioned are just the amount of gambling. If it was 7 months ago, then hopefully they wouldn't be showing anything on your last 3 months' pace bank statements. So absolutely fine. My voice, it's robotic. Sorry. Uh, I don't know what's going on with my mic. People are moaning about it today. I've got a bit of a cold, I think. But yeah, sorry. I don't know what the problem is. Is the 5 times you mentioned roughly what lenders will give, or can we expect 6 times? It's roughly 5 times. You'll only get 6 times if you are a particular type of first time buyer or you're a professional. 5 times due to the 80k. It's not always 5 times your salary. The general rule of thumb is 4.5 times, but there are instances where you can get five, 5.5, 6. I mentioned 5 for that previous comment because it was deemed a high earner. We are renewing our mortgage, but would like to move house in a couple of years. Should we try to line it up when we finish with where we avoid fees? I mean, I can't really advise around that because it depends on your situation and what the plans are. Obviously, if you're a client, we would hugely discuss that. Um, but off the information you're given, I couldn't comment. You're right to be thinking about it, but the best route of action, I would only be able to advise once it's all been fully assessed and I know the full situation. Feel free to get in touch if you want. We can happily have that chat. But it's, yeah, I'd need to know more. Okay, so valuation for a remortgage. Bought the property nearly 4 years ago and I've done a lot of work on it. So for a remortgage, the lender will value it anyway. Oh, shared ownership. I'm not going through shared ownership again. I will perhaps try and clip. Oh, I'm not going to be able to do that because that isn't set up. No, I won't be able to do that. I'm afraid. I'll probably have to. I'll put a shared ownership video together and put that up. Best way to overpay mortgage: lump sums or increased monthly payment? No, regular overpayments. If your product allows it. So have a look at your mortgage paperwork to see if your lender allows it in the first place, and then what the limit is for overpayments. But overpayments are very, very beneficial because it just pays off the capital. You're not paying off interest, so it's very good. Or just say yes or no. It's not a yes or no answer, Megan. It was kind of rude. I said I would do a separate video on it. Crikey. If you don't want my help, scroll on. Bloody hell. Go and have a coffee. Chill out. Jesus. Oh my God. Right. Oliver's getting blocked. Oliver's getting blocked. What an idiot. I'm not having that kind of stuff on here. Thank you for those likes and the follows. Again, really appreciated. I do try and help, but clearly some people, that's not good enough. But there you go. There you go. Ugh. Best way to buy a house with bad credit score. Get your Check My File report. There is a free link in my bio so you can get one. And then tell us what are the reasons behind the bad credit score, because then we will be able to match you with lenders that will accept that as part of their lending criteria. Is it worth getting a credit card now? I finished my IVA, obviously paying off in full. Why? Why do you want a credit card? You've just done an IVA. Why are you getting credit? Crikey. Daryl, thank you for that follow. Appreciate that. What's an IVA? If you're not an IVA, you don't need to worry about. Will not be an electoral roll for current address affect mortgage application. It won't be great. It's going just get on the electoral roll. It's a very quick process to do. So get on the electoral roll. Single buyer for a mortgage, but as high deposit. Would this help? Absolutely. There's no need to worry about being a single buyer. Got plenty of people that get mortgages on their own. It just the only benefit to buying as a couple is the combined salary. So therefore, the amount you can borrow. But of course, you're probably going to need to buy a bigger place because there's more of you. Whereas if you're a single applicant, so yeah, you should be all right. Yeah, a big deposit always helps. You know, the more deposit, the better generally. So yeah. I know you aren't a solicitor, but how long after buying should I expect my paperwork from Land Registry? I'm not a solicitor, as you say. So it depends how quick the solicitor works. Is it unsafe to be on the electoral roll? Does it not affect? Is it unsafe to be on an electoral roll? Does that affect getting a mortgage? You have to be on an electoral roll. Isn't it a legal requirement to be on an electoral roll? How long after a default would you be able to get a mortgage? Relatively soon. It's not going to help you. But yeah, if you go to a broker that's got access to the whole of the market, then there will be options there. You should be able to get one. If government borrowing more money, can this increase swap rates? Potentially, yeah. And that's why we've been seeing rates increasing, swap rates increasing, because there's uncertainty about what's going to happen with the budget. So we will see. We'll have to pay stamp duty if mortgage accepted before 30th of March but complete after. If it completes after 31st of March, you will pay stamp duty. Well, if it comes into the lower threshold, that's if the thresholds don't. That's if the thresholds change. They might remain the same. Um, you are based in Bristol. I'm looking to buy in Surrey. Can I use you as your mortgage broker? Absolutely, because we do everything remotely. Gone are the days of having to have a mortgage advisor, mortgage broker come and sit in your living room and be all awkward. We can do absolutely everything remotely. So yeah, do feel free to get in touch. I mean, we've got advisors all over the country now: Sheffield, Chesham, Salisbury, Bristol. Might have one in northwest London soon. So yeah, we are very well covered. But yeah, it's all done remotely. I need to mortgage my house. I need to remortgage my house. The value of my house is around 300k. I own 60k mortgage. How much can I get? It depends on how much income you've got and how much you can borrow. What's the lending criteria for self-employed salary? It's not the same as employed. It depends on your figures. Depends what type of self-employed you are. What we're looking at. Are we looking at paying dividends? Are we looking at net profit? So it's a very different setup. It just needs to be properly assessed. If I haven't got a deposit, can you get a mortgage? There are a couple of ways which you can get a mortgage with no deposit, but very limited in their criteria. You earn 70k a year. Okay, so roughly you can times that by four and a half, and then that's potentially how much you can borrow. But there are further things that need to be considered in that. So that's just your starting point. Do you pay stamp duty if you're buying as a couple, but only one of the buyers is a first time buyer? Yeah, if you're buying as a couple, and one of them is not a first time buyer, you lose any benefits of being a first time buyer. I bought a house on the Isle of Wight. Now want to buy on mainline land. Should I remortgage for a deposit? I.e., borrow more, have additional borrowing. Hmm, let me think. So you do additional borrowing, but then additional borrowing. No, that's not going to work. You're going to be tied into mortgage terms. It's going to cost you a lot of money. That. I don't see how that will work. No, I can't think how that will stack up. Right, it's going quiet on the questions, so I'm going to do one. Um, don't forget to follow. We don't do commercial, but we have a company and a group that can. So get in touch and we can sort that out. Get in touch if you'd like us to help you. Links are in the bio to book in a call. Can I get a mortgage with a year's self assessment and 10% deposit? Yes. Um, it's not just self assessment. It's tax returns, it's company accounts, tax computations, and obviously a 10%. And depends where the 10%'s come from. So yeah, do follow because we go live regularly to try and answer your questions and help you out. So hit that follow button so you don't miss out on anything. If you would like to book in a call, then please do feel free to do so. You can use the link in the TikTok bio, or you can go through the website, which is up there, mellowfinancial.co.uk. Do excuse the website. It is currently being redone, so it's going to look a lot better. I really don't like it at the moment, but that's been redone. All the paperwork's been signed, and that's going on. Or just send us your name, number, and email address in a message, and someone will get back to you to book something in. Or you can just send us an email up there. If you're a first-time buyer and you want something for free, there is a free first-time buyer's guide on our website, which you can go and get and have a read of, which might answer a few questions or concerns. So head to the website for that. If you would like a free copy of your credit file, your credit history, there is a link in the TikTok bio for that as well. Gets you a free Check My File report, so go and check it out. Loads of stuff for you. to go and have a look at and enjoy. So do feel free to do so, and I will see you next time. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for joining me. Enjoy your Wednesday and enjoy the budget if you can. Ugh.